You can bet that the men and women that we honor today and those who died that fateful morning 75 years ago never took a knee and never failed to stand whenever they heard our national anthem being played.
Well, in a speech honoring the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, Navy Admiral Harry Harris, he got a standing ovation after calling out NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick and other athletes. Now, remember, Kaepernick caused a national stir for kneeling during the national anthem in protest of police brutality. With me now, retired Marine Staff Sergeant. He's Johnny Jones. He's the host of Blown Away with JJJ podcast. He's also a double amputee veteran. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Sir, the Admiral's comments, he got a lengthy standing ovation from the crowd. What was your reaction to what he said?
Well, thank you for having me on this evening. Everything he said was absolutely true. We wouldn't be here today as the country we are had that generation been a generation that focused on the negatives of this country or even perceived negatives instead of all the amazing things about it. And when you think about this country in the 40s, it wasn't as good of a country as it is now. It wasn't as free. It wasn't as equal. It wasn't as fair. And for that generation to stand up, even the African Americans that fought in World War II that didn't have the rights that they should have had, and for them to understand that that flag means so much more than where we're going wrong, and it means about that we have the freedom to go right, to fix problems. You know, I've spoken to Colin Kaepernick. He's got this wrong. I think he's beginning to know it, or at least those around him do.
Wait, you've spoken to Colin Kaepernick? Well, what did you say to him? What did he say back?
Absolutely. So I sent a tweet out right after his first press conference before the police pig socks and said, listen, Colin, you might not can stand for the national anthem, but even without legs, I'll stand with enough pride for both of us. And through a mutual friend, Nate Boyer, he reached out to me via text, and I texted him back. So we didn't speak, we text. And at the time, he seemed open to understanding kind of a better way to get his message out there. And then immediately after that, things kind of went downhill, so I've not talked to him since. And it's really unfortunate. To shine light on issues that are real is one thing. To purposely offend at least half the country, if not more, especially those who serve every day in a blue uniform, is just unacceptable. You know,
sir, you make such a good point. People who fought for the flag, like the good soldiers, people like you fought to eliminate bigotry, racism, sexism, imperialism, communism, and terrorism. That's from the University of Texas Chancellor William McRaven. He's saying that Colin Kaepernick needs to be reminded of that, right?
Absolutely. I was actually with Admiral McRaven not too long ago talking about this issue as well. It's the truth. Listen, what that flag stands for isn't perfection or even fairness. It's a will to be fair, to be more perfect. It's a will to have the people in this country decide their own fate, both in government and in their personal lives. You're not going to get that right 100% of the time, but what Colin needs to understand, and what most Americans in this country understand, is that it's special to have that freedom to speak up when something went wrong, and that flag stands for that. It doesn't stand for the negatives or the what he calls oppression. It stands for so much more than that, and it's a personal insult to me and those like me, and actually every American, to take a knee or burn a flag instead of trying to champion a cause that might actually have merit.
You know, with the recent passing of Senator John Glenn, the hero astronaut, as a fellow Marine, what are your thoughts?
Listen, in the Marine Corps, we put our Marine Corps heroes on a pedestal. From the first day of boot camp, you start to learn those like Chesty Puller that came before you and paved the way for Marines to come with the esteem and the esprit de corps we have today. John Glenn is one of those Marines. You know, he's a man that's larger than life. I tell a joke that because I was blown up, I was an astronaut for 10 seconds. And I think he would laugh at that joke if he were here with us today. So I mourn his passing, but I also celebrate his life, what he meant to not only the Marine Corps, but this country, as someone who went back in his 70s, back in outer space, and really just showed a guy like me who had to learn to walk on prosthetic legs that truly nothing is impossible, including going, you know, into outer space at the age of 70. So it's truly a hero, especially to me as a Marine. And I hate that he passed, but I think heaven's got its own set of wings today.
Yeah, retired Staff Sergeant Johnny Jones, thank you so much for your thoughts there, and thank you for your service to our country. We really appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.